Hi, I'm Brett Callen, and in this video, I'm going to show you how anyone can quickly
Team Dyess. We're back for another session with the performance levels today, and performance levels are actually something that had been discussed earlier in other professional development talks, especially within the promotion and leadership classes that were taught earlier. There were two parts to those, and in those you saw the performance levels, but this is actually going to break it down a little bit more for those who are more curious about this subject, and help you to understand a little bit more about performance levels and what you can do to get to that next level. Some things that we're going to be talking about, some similar things that you've seen in the promotion and leadership course, is going to be grade roles and responsibilities, performance levels, knowing your audience, why those performance levels matter, mission and vision statements, and of course showing progression, how to show that progression. And as always, I always conclude with some resources. So what do you do with your organization? Where are you supposed to be? And where are you going? These are some things that we're going to try to answer today. What you should be doing at your current level, and what you want to do to try to get to that next level, understanding those levels. But some of the reason that you want to understand these levels is so that you can get to where you aspire to be. Are you just a staff sergeant who wants to make master sergeant? Is that your goal? It's okay to have a goal that seems maybe simple to others who are saying that they want to make chief. Your goal is to make master sergeant and retire. That's a respectable and attainable goal. But what are you going to do to get there? How about the tech sergeant who has that dream of becoming a chief? This is the time to start setting up your career so that you can make chief. If you have a desire to commission, what needs to be done, and who should you be talking to? What things could you be preparing yourself for right now as an airman? Even if you have a degree, that doesn't mean that you're automatically going to be considered for officer training school. So how are you going to get there? Let's discuss. First, grade roles and responsibilities. We've seen these before in promotion and leadership, but we're going to get more in depth with these and have a better understanding. Now, your airmen work in the tactical area. They're workers. They're usually on the front line. They're accomplishing those tasks that get the mission done, and this is the very mission that we need to get done overseas or just in wartime in general. Your NCOs are entry-level leaders, but are also still tactical in nature for the most part, up until towards maybe E6 and above. They start to cross over into operational. And then we have your senior NCOs, which they mainly operate within the operational environment, but some of our senior NCOs will be up at that higher level. Now, that doesn't mean that you are limited to your grade role or to the tactical, operational, or strategic area. There are various places that we can exist as you make your way up through the ranks. There are four performance levels: membership, supervisory, management, and leadership. To have a good shot at how you operate at the next level, these are some roles that we are going to be talking about and how you can be considered for that force distribution or that strat. Now, I talked a little bit about tactical, operational, and strategic vision. Here's the big thing about these. Where do they come from? They actually come from 36-26-18, enlisted force structure in Chapter 2. You can read a little bit more on these, but here's a general idea as to what they do. The tactical airmen, they master their core duty skills. What did you join the Air Force to be originally? Not all of us joined and said, I'm going to make chief right away. Some of us might have had that plan, but most of us joined for a specific career field to gain experience in that field and to gain some development. That's what we start off doing. You become a master at your core duty skills. Now, for the operational competence, these airmen are typically around that leadership rank in tech sergeant and on up to master sergeant. They're transitioning from specialists to leaders. This sounds very much like something some of us Master Sergeants have done, and it's a difficult transition for some of us to move from one level to the next. Then you've got your strategic vision, and this is where you have a much deeper understanding for the Air Force's capabilities. Usually this is going to be somebody at headquarters staff or in a command position and around your base. Now, this could be your command chief. This could be somebody that you deal with maybe on occasion at headquarters, at AMC or ACC. But that is the area that you might be striving for. You actually might operate in this area. The big thing is, how do you capture this so that you prove that you're ready to operate in these areas? So you see, give you a little bit of an idea as to where each of these ranks kind of falls into their area. So airmen and NCOs will fall within that tactical area, but your NCOs will start to transition and into the operational zone. Senior NCOs, some of them, Master Sergeant in Chief, will operate within the strategic area, but this is kind of an expectation of where they can be. Many airmen will probably not see the operational area, but that doesn't mean that they don't always. There are some times where you will find yourself there, and if you do, remember that if you are an airman and you are at that operational area, the expectation is that you are doing things that an NCO should do. And for our NCOs, if you're doing things at the strategic level, you are doing things that most of your seasoned senior NCOs are doing. So if you are, this is something that we have to capture when we write those EPRs and those 1206s. So that membership level, tactical. Your airmen, E1 through E4. There's a job performance, recognition, self-improvement, milestones, base community involvement. This is actually stuff that you're going to document in that EPR for the most part, and that 1206 as well. These are the things that you're trying to capture. So let's take a deeper look at some of those things. So when you're thinking about writing that 1206 or that EPR, your job performance is going to consist of, at this level, help, assist, participate, support, perform maintenance, task level efforts. So your action verb is typically going to start off with something along these lines. Now that's for your typical airman at this level. That's not for the advanced airman who's working at the next level. We'll see what that looks like when we get to supervisory. But at membership level, this is what it looks like. Your recognition is typically lower level recognition, what we would consider to be lower level. It's squadron level awards, maybe monthly, quarterlies, some 5-6 council awards, maybe even top 3 awards. There's a member of the week, member of the month at some bases. I know that here with the Dyess top 3, there is a monthly award that they consider for many of our airmen out there, and it's not just one set of airmen. It's the entire base is eligible for it. All you have to do is have a supervisor that knows about it and puts you in for it. It's something to keep track of. And it is a great award to throw into an award package and even an EPR for our airmen. Coins from squadron commanders are also great. Self-improvement, there are many different things, but we understand that most of our airmen are working on their CDCs. CDC completion is a great thing to consider, especially if you complete it with the highest of standards. Remember, you want to pursue excellence. Excellence in all you do means that you want an excellent score on those CDCs to capture. But if you just say that you completed your CDCs, well, so did just about every other airman. What was so great about it? Now, classes. We can't take classes until we're done with those CDCs, but when it's time, definitely start taking those classes. And here's a hint. Look into the Pell Grant, because that is something that will definitely help you, not just as far as getting the class done or maybe getting a few more classes in for the year as your TA might cap out, but also to get a few extra supplies if needed. You might need a nice computer that's got some good speed to it. It's got some good memory in order to accomplish many of those papers that might keep you up a night or two. Now, base community involvement. Again, it's helping, assisting, participating. You may not be leading. That's okay. It's okay to do that at these levels, especially from airmen and A1Cs. Senior airmen, we might want to be considering getting into the next level if you want to prove that you're ready for it. So let's take a look at that next level, what it is. That's supervisory level. This is where you are tactical primarily, but you start to cross over into the operational tier on average. Job performance, recognition, self-improvement milestones, base community involvement. Again, all things that you're going to see in those EPRs and 1206s at this level. Our job performance is going to consist of supervise, lead, take charge, supervise small team, manage small programs, and improved task level procedures. These are some things that you're going to consider when you're looking at that action verb that starts off your 1206 or your EPR. Some mid-level recognition starts to be apparent here. Squadron annual awards. You're getting annual recognition now, and more often. You're getting recognition at the group level and coins from group commanders and above. Some self-improvement. Now, as a staff sergeant, as a tech sergeant, it's important that you accomplish some education, CCAF or an associate degree, because these are going to be requirements later on if you wish to make senior master sergeant. Now, base community involvement, at this point, our average staff sergeant and tech sergeant should be supervising, leading, or taking charge. They should be in charge of one of these things as far as base and community involvement. But also they're getting involved in other things, taking the lead as maybe a trainer or an NCOIC in the Honor Guard, supervising small committees, and organizing fundraisers. Now, for our tech sergeants hoping to get to that next level to become master sergeants typically operate within the operational level within their organizations. Now, there's something different that stands out here. It's standing out bold and green, looking you in the face. It's called leadership effect. The difference between the Air Force Form 910 and 911 is that leadership starts to take precedence, and this is where that operational tier really comes into play. A master sergeant is now leading. That is one of their primary jobs, to lead and mentor, to get their to lead their folks to that next level. So we start off with job performance. Many of the things that a master sergeant should be doing is organizing, directing, planning, supervising on a greater scope. Their supervisor, as a supervisor and as a senior NCO, you should supervise a flight. Now, the leadership effect to this, it's similar. We have some similar verbs that we're going to be using there, like supervise, lead large team, multiple teams, manage large programs. And another thing that we're starting to look at here is war impact. How are they impacting the war, if there is one going on at that time, and which operations are you a part of? Recognition is going to be a little bit higher level at this point. There are fewer senior NCOs, so to stand out amongst your fellow senior NCOs, you might want to seek out that higher level recognition and make sure that you are aware of those things. Now, don't ever forget, though, as a senior NCO, your primary duty is to mentor and lead people. So if that's going to be the case, everything that you've learned up till now, take that and develop your folks so that they can get to these levels as well. Remember that your tech sergeant, who you're hoping to get to this level, should be doing some of these things. Self-improvement milestones, teaching, mentoring, this class right here. What I am doing is something that we should all strive to do in all of our organizations, and that's to reach out to folks and teach them some of the things that we've learned over the past few years. So self-improvement is not just going to stop at getting a degree. There are other things that we can do as senior NCOs, such as completing SCJ PME2, and of course some longer in-residence courses. There's some sister service PMEs that we can attend as well. If you have the opportunity to attend one of those, it's a great opportunity to learn something new and to be able to operate in the joint environment. With base community involvement, organizing, directing, planning, they're on a greater scope with this, a much greater scope, and they should be leading these from the top. Now, of course, by leading them, they're giving other people the opportunity to lead as well. It's transformational leadership, making sure that you are training some folks to get to this level and giving them the opportunity and not micromanaging and giving that opportunity and backing away. But you're still there to organize it and keep everything on track. That's something that you'll want to do at this level. Now, our last level here, notice that we lost something completely. Job. The job has gone away. It's not all about the job at this point. It is primarily about your leadership effect, and how you lead at this level. Most likely going to be a senior master sergeant or chief, but again, this is not closed off. There's no bars in between. Master sergeants, tech sergeants on down could be a part of the leadership or strategic levels. So here's a look at what it would take to be a leader at these levels. Now, one big thing that I'd like to point out here, self-improvement and milestones. If you're going to get to this level, if your plan is to become chief someday, look at some of these things as far as achievements go. Higher level education, long in residence, PME John Leventow, academic achievement, Commandant Awards, and maybe even working toward a master's degree. These are all traits of a person who is trying to become better, trying to work harder. And of course, recognition at command and Air Force level. I've got a very amazing tech sergeant that works with us, and he recently received a headquarters level award. If he has a plan to make chief, he's already on the right path, because that's an expectation for somebody who's at this level. Here's another look at all of these levels and about where they land and merge together. So for your tactical, Airman Basic through Tech Sergeant, you see where they land, and you also see what their performance level is, membership and supervisory. Your operational level, Tech Sergeant through Senior, management. And of course, at the strategic level, some Master Sergeants through Chief Master Sergeants, they're at a leadership level. Now, this is going to come down to your 1206s and your EPRs. Don't assume that your audience doesn't know your job. But at the same time, don't assume that they do know your job. You might have to spell some things out for some of these folks and help them to understand a little bit of why this particular bullet is standing out. That it's not just your day-to-day, everyday job. That this is something that is most amazing, and it's maybe more peculiar or particular compared to what you would do every day. Some Air Force talk is very different from what AFSC lingo is. And we have to know the difference, and the way that we're going to do that is to talk to somebody in another AFSC, maybe one that is very contrasting compared to what you're in. Now, using key duties. On key duties, you never want to use the same key duties in your EPR. Make sure that you're showing growth. This is how we use those performance levels and the understanding of them. Know where you're at as far as the tactical level is, and when you're starting to transition into that operational level, you need to be able to show that in your key duties. This is actually where it becomes most apparent that you are starting to transition from one level to the next. For instance, here on your first year, we were very much at the tactical level. The second year, a little bit more tactical, but at the third year, it's looking like you're transitioning toward becoming more operational. This is just in 3 years, and an A1C, a senior airman who gets their first EPR, it could look something like this. Senior airman first year, second year, maybe a staff sergeant for the third year, but that's how this progression should look on your key duties. You also want to make sure that you are demonstrating mastery. So, of course, excellence in all we do. We want to be experts at what we do. If you cannot master basic responsibilities, why should you be trusted with a great responsibility? you have to prove that you're ready for the next level. The only way that you're going to do that is to master all of the small skills and have them so well under your thumb that it's easy. You need to be able to show over periods of time that you're good at one task and that you're teaching those junior members those tasks, and that shows a mastery as well. Being a trainer shows that you are a master at what you do. Now, always write in layman's terms as much as you can. I know we like to use acronyms like crazy in the Air Force. We use them for everything. However, try not to use them when you know that this package is most likely not just going to make it through your squadron, but it's going to go up to a group with many different career fields, or up to a wing, which includes every career field on your base. So how are you going to explain to that medical airman and help them to understand what the maintenance airman is talking about? There are a lot of different things here that could get right by you, but also